So this is my fodder system, and I thought I would do a short video on how to build one of these. I kind of improvised it, and that's probably the most important thing to remember when you build it. But there's a couple of essential elements to it that I thought would be good to point out. The first one is that there's simply 4 shelves. They're identical, 1, 2, and then 3, 4. Connected by PVC. All of the structure here is PVC pipe. 1 inch was sufficient for me. So obviously I had to buy a bunch of these tees, and I chose 1 inch over 1.5 inch because it just saved a good bit of money actually. So the structure is PVC pipe. The surface, the growing surface, is actually tileboard, which you can pick up from Lowe's or Home Depot or Menards or whatever home improvement store. I actually found a scrap piece of it. It looks like this. It's kind of like a dry erase board type surface. The back side is non-permeable, or is permeable. The top side is not water permeable. So that's why I chose that. But the problem is, again, water is going to inevitably get on the bottom side of these. So what I did was got just some construction adhesive and glued very well some aluminum foil to the underside of each of these. I chose aluminum foil because that also reflects the light that I have going on in here. I have some fluorescent lighting over here that's helping the fodder green up as it grows. So again, these are about 2 feet by 2 feet approximately, and again, you sort of have to adjust it for your own dimensions. But I think they could be a little larger than that. Eventually, you're going to get a lot of sagging here with the weight all in the middle. So 2 feet by 2 feet was good for me, and I can grow about up to probably 3 pounds of dry seed, which will turn into between 10 and 12 pounds of fodder on this 2 foot by 2 foot surface. I'm probably not going to get much more than about 10 or 11 pounds realistically on here. So again, what I did was with these PVC pipes, actually the structure is only this side and that side. And what I did was I took the pipe and I I used a circular saw to cut an incision in it all the way down on there and there, and I slid the tile board into it on each side. And then on this side, this isn't really even structural. This is just kind of a water barrier. So I did the same thing here, but again, this pipe isn't really going anything. It's just sitting here. I caulked all my seams with silicone caulk. You definitely need to use silicone caulk because that's waterproof, and latex caulk ultimately really won't be. My joints here, I did not caulk because there's no point really, and I didn't glue them either because that's not a good idea either. The reason I caulked this was to keep any water from potentially getting onto the underside of the tile board. Now, another important aspect is the edge here where the water runs off, and we'll talk about how I get to run off in a moment, but the edge has to be, if you look on this upper one here, there's a lip here, and you can purchase these at Lowe's. I honestly don't even know what they're called, but you can, it's essentially kind of a right angle, and it slips onto the end here, and it just has a little drip edge that comes down, and it fit perfectly on there. And again, as you can see, I caulked the seam where it went on there, so again, no water can get to the non-permeable, or to the permeable part of the system. So again, sometimes water will collect here. You get a little bit of algae growing, but you can just sort of rinse that off or scrub it off with a little water and peroxide. So that's the gist of it. Now at the bottom here, I just sort of, to angle it, the left side I put them up on a couple more T-joints, and the right side I didn't. So the whole thing is tilted slightly to the right, which allows the water to run off nicely. Beyond that, it's pretty simple. Again, it just requires you doing some measurements on your own with the space that you have. I had this shower that was of not really very much use, and it was not a very good shower, and so we just decided to use that, which is convenient because I have our water spigot right here, and we have a slight leak going on too that I got to fix, but the water drains out nice and easy, and there's space on the bottom to put your first few days of sprouting barley seed. So again, that's kind of the gist of it, and maybe if I think of something else that's important, I'll make an additional video. But again, structure really just on the opposing sides. This third side isn't structural at all. It's just a barrier to keep the seeds from going off that way. This side has no barrier, so the water can flow nicely off the edge. The whole thing is tilted slightly towards that direction. I caulked all the seams. I didn't mention I caulked even these seams here, where the tile board goes into the PVC. Caulked those seams. Again, anything that would keep water out of the tile board and its permeable side, you caulk all those surfaces. So that's the gist of it, and thanks for watching. Happy fodder growing.